Okay, so we are ready to continue with our dashboard. We're going to add a third visualization that is going to add a little more flavor into our analytics. In this case, we have to change a unit using a mathematical expression. So we're going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my cross table. We're going to work with the cross table this time. Go ahead and reorganize the visualizations so the cross table is here and you have more space to work on. So stage one is we're gonna ensure that we have the proper access. So you should know this by now. Let's go to properties. We go to access, and here we're gonna take a moment and see how this actually correlates with what I'm seeing on the screen here. Everything that is horizontal, like this blue here, is pretty much what is going to be displayed in the horizontal panel. They have the type for now. I'm going to go ahead and remove the type. Look how that is actually affecting the visualization. Now I don't have that type there. I'm going to keep this empty for now. In the vertical, I do want to include the fluid, but I also want to have access to my well IDs. So I'm going to include also my well ID over there. And then for my cell values, I want a combination of different things. I'm going to remove this and I'm going to start from 0. So the first thing that I want my monthly gas. So I'm going to go ahead and use my monthly gas, MCF. The second thing that I want is my total of production hours. And then the third thing that I want actually requires a conversion. So the third thing that I want is going to be production divided by hours multiplied by 24. So to do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the production, which is exactly the monthly gas that we did at the beginning. But in this specific case also, be aware of the aggregation method. I don't want the totals, I want the average. So go ahead and change the sum from sum to average, and let's do the same for the other two that we already created. Let's change this for average, and let's change this for average. That's good to know. You can change the aggregation method and you have many options. So a lot of statistics here, a lot of advanced analytics here. Very good tool to have. Okay. So now in the third one, we were saying, yes, it's the monthly gas, but it has to be divided by the hours and it has to be multiplied by 24. So if I want to really get into the edit mode of these kind of expressions, always right click of the mouse, custom expression. Here Spotfire pretty much is showing what it already put together for you. Every comma separator is one of these columns here. So you have the first one here, you have the second one here, you have the third one here, and it's the third one, the one that we actually want to edit. So it's going to be the monthly gas divided by the production hours. So just select the column that you need, insert the column. Here we go. Okay, now I need to multiply this by 24. So I'm going to get out of that parenthesis, multiply it by 24. And click OK. Okay, so these are the expressions that we want. Now, if you want to change these names and make it a little more consistent, remember all the time by the custom expression option. So go ahead and go to Access again, right click of the mouse, custom expression, and we're gonna add the proper names here. So the first one is gonna be my monthly gas. You can type it. Let's be sure that you are typing the expressions in the right place. Be aware of the parentheses and the commas. I am right now outside of the round parentheses here, and I'm gonna call this I'm gonna call this production hours. And then my last one is my monthly operation rate in the new unit that now I have thanks to the conversion. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and now we have a nice looking table that has better names, even though we have some math behind the scenes to represent the expression that we want to represent. Now, to finish this visualization, let's ensure that you're showing the information that you want to show. Right now, this is not adding any value. This is the legend. I can remove it. Also, I already have what I want in terms of my axis, so I can remove that as well. To do so, right-click of the mouse, visualization features, and I'm going to remove the axis selector, and I'm also going to remove the legend. So it gives me a little more space. Now notice that you can always take a look of this table and sort the information the way you need. Okay, so far we have all the visualizations that we wanted, and now the next step is to add some geographical information here. So for that, we're gonna keep studying our menu on the left. We already are very familiar with this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one, data in analysis. In this menu, notice how you have display the name of the table. If you have multiple tables here, you will be able to navigate from one table to another one. And then you will have the list of columns that belong to the table. Every time that you select a new list, a new column, notice that Spotfire is giving you the whole overview of the data that belongs to that column. Also, this is a couple of options here. The first one is giving you ideas like recommendations based on the selected column, meaning if you want to know, for example, if you have a production by production hours correlation, this Spotfire is going to actually give you some visualizations to start with. In this case, I'm going to focus on this one and show you the other option here, which is the details on selected column. When you click here, you will see a different menu that is also giving you an overview of your data for that specific column, and it's allowing you to do some specific edits to that column itself. You can change the type, you can change the format, you can do some other things based on that. Also, notice that Spotfire includes a lot of data wrangling here with one click of the mouse. A lot of the times you will need to split this data, consume only some characters from that data and things like that. A split column is a very nice option where Spotfire automatically detects the columns that can be splitted, and it leaves you the option to use any character to split them and so on. So in this case, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to click cancel, but this is a good thing to know for you. Okay, so how we're going to continue. If you have latitude and longitude, if you have a different name here, just go ahead and ignore it and come to this little pencil here and change the name so it's only latitude, and change the name so it's only longitude. So just put the name over there and click enter and you're done. Okay, so what I want to show you is from this panel, data in analysis, you can select the two location columns, in this case latitude and longitude, and you can ask Spotfire, do you have any recommendation for me? Spotfire automatically would recognize that these two are location columns, therefore is going to suggest a map. I want that map. I click on it, and now I can start configuring the map. So let's make some arrangements. I want the KPIs on my top right, I want this map on this left, and I want this visualization to be a little bigger. Okay, so here we are. Now notice that we have a menu, part of the legend that is telling us that we can control a lot of things that we are seeing in this map. We can control the color by any category that I want, for example fluid, and we can see here our gas, oil and shale gas wells. I can also control the shape. I can do the same by fluid, and we can see some consistency there, and then we can actually make this whatever we want. We can actually pick a size by another category, for example the bigger producers in oil, and then I can see my bigger wells here are the best producers. Now I can also change a lot of things from this menu. So if you do right click of the mouse, properties, I'm going to introduce you to the map chart properties. First thing to know is that Spotfire is very robust when consuming data. Therefore, it has a lot of support for different coordinate reference systems. So if you click here in other, you will have a very good idea of the coordinate systems that are already supported in Spotfire. And if it is not by default supported in Spotfire, I'm guarantee you most likely will already have a connector or a workaround to consume the data. So very, very robust in terms of geoanalytics. The second thing to notice is that you have a layer option that allows you to bring multiple types of layers. So what this means is that you may have a marker representing a well, in the case that we do have right now a marker representing a well, but you can also have a polygon representing a geographical area, or you may have some images that you want to add on top, TMS layers or WMS layers or so on. So I will provide a list of links and resources at the end, but I just want to ensure that you are aware of this page here. Is part of the community TIBCO site, but it has a lot of information in terms of geoanalytics. So very good page, a lot of tips and tricks, including how to get examples for WMS and TMS layers and so on. Okay, so back to our example here. I also want to show you that you can control each of these layers in a separate way. So in this case, I'm going to go to settings and I'm going to ensure that my size is a little bigger. I want the markers to be a little bigger so I can see them better. There you go. And you have also different ways to do connections and tooltips and labels and so on. A lot to explore here. I invite you to take a look of the capabilities on the mapping for Spotfire. Okay, so in this specific case, I can click on the top left and see that I only have two map layers. One is the default map layer that you see here. This is like a Google map layer, and the other one is the marker layer that is bringing the latitude and the longitude from the wells from the table. So if I uncheck this, I won't see anything more than a regular map. But if I check this, I will add my data where I can actually zoom to filter items and see the area of interest in this case. In addition to that, notice how you can select one well or a couple of wells and see how everything else is pointing to that well in all of the other visualizations. So you start to see the power of Spotfire, where everything that you created is linked behind the scenes, and you can highlight one thing and see how that one thing highlights in everything else, because all the visualizations are already connected and linked for you. Remove this and just keep it as standard color. That sometimes, depending on the analysis that you are doing, is actually more convenient. I'm also gonna remove the shapes and have just a regular shape that looks like a star, and I'm gonna remove the size and just keep them in this format right now for future purposes. Okay, so I don't want to keep any of these here. I want to save this space, so I'm gonna go to properties or visualization features, and I'm gonna remove the legend, so I don't want to see it over there. Here we go. Okay, so we are moving forward. We have the next part of it, which is the mapping of the latitude and the longitude, very basic information of the wells at this point. Okay, our next visualization is actually a details on demand from this visualization. What it means is that a lot of the times you may want to just click here and find out more details about that specific marker, that specific well, or that specific row on your data table, right? So if you do click anywhere in the map, look at one of the wells and do right click, and then take a look of the create details visualization option. As you can see, this is pretty much the same menu of all the visualizations that you are able to find on the panel over here. So if you go create visualizations, you have the tables, the cross tables, the maps, and pretty much any visualization that you need. In this specific case, we're going to create a second map. But the goal of the second map is to show more insights into that well and to show the length of the well. Where is the surface, where is the bottom, and how it actually is connected. So to accomplish that, we will need a new map chart that we're going to move side by side. So notice that because this is a details on demand, a details visualization, the only visualization that we have right here on this map is that one well that we just click on this left map. So if we click in another well, we will have that other well being displayed here. And if I click on a set of wells, I will have those set of wells displayed here. Okay, so I can zoom in into this data. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on my properties, and in the layers I want to ensure that I have the proper settings for this layer. And what I want to do is to add a secondary data table that is going to provide me with information regarding the length of the well. Okay, so to do so, I'm going to go ahead and add another table. Remember that you can just browse the local file, or you can simply drag and drop. So we were dragging and dropping. I'm gonna go ahead and select the second table that says surface B per well, and I'm gonna literally drag and drop. When that happens, Spotfire is recognizing the table and is letting me know that it's gonna be imported as a new data table. Okay, here we go. So if I want to see that table, let's say that I'm building this dashboard and I just added that table to the dashboard. I want to see it. I want to take a look of the table. I can just easily add a second page here and quickly add a table and ensure that I have visibility on the two tables that I already loaded. So I'm going to have one is my original data table, and I'm going to add another one here side by side that is going to show me the new one that I just added, so I can take a look. So I have my well ID, I have my table here, and I have my latitude and my longitude. So the information that I am receiving here is that for a specific well, I will have a bottom latitude and longitude, and I will have a surface latitude and longitude. Okay, so this is very good information. Okay, so what the real goal here is to ensure that we can work with the same well IDs, right? So you can tell immediately that you have a key to connect these two tables. You have the same well ID that you can use to connect these two tables. So let's here, and I'm gonna go to data table properties. Okay, so in data table properties, you will see you have two tables. You also will see you have two little squares on the left, and the two little squares are actually different colors. What different colors squares means is that the two tables are not connected. So what we want to do is ensure that we can connect these two tables. We're going to go to relations, and we're going to manage the relation, and we're going to create a new relation between the two tables, ensuring that my well ID is actually the connector between the two. We have a sample value, and this is saying no problem, I was able to identify the one UWI from one table into the other one. I know this is the same value, therefore I can easily see a connection between the two tables. Click OK. What happened? Notice how the color on the squares are now the same, and not only that, whenever I click on one well on my left table, I'm gonna see the equivalent data from my surface information in the next table. And I'm going to ensure that I'm going to use that information as part of this map. So what I want to do as part of this map is to add a marker layer. So I'm going to add a marker layer here. I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to go to layers, and I'm going to uncheck this one because I'm going to focus on a second one that is actually more important for me at this specific moment. I'm going to add a marker layer, and look at that. Now I actually have two options because now the tables are linked. So I can select my second table, which is this one, and I can define what I'm gonna highlight here. So in this specific case, I want to ensure that this is coming from my marking, right? Meaning it is marked at my first map. So I want to ensure that this marking is actually being considered here with the data that I'm displaying on this map. And then on the positioning, I want to ensure that I'm using my longitude and longitude, that it seems to be